Wow, so Colorado got absolutely dominated by Nebraska 28-10 in a game where they were outmatched, outclassed, pretty much dominated in every phase of the game. And trust me when I say this, I knew Nebraska was going to win. From the start, I said this game was going to go to Nebraska. But I'd be lying if I said I didn't think this game was going to be close. And trust me, I know about Nebraska's defense. I know they had one of the better defenses in college football. But I still thought some way, somehow, Colorado was going to keep this close. And they were still going to lose at the end of the day, but they were going to keep it close. Now, what I say next might sound weird, but hear me out. Colorado needed this win, but they also needed this L. Colorado, they needed this L for a lot of reasons. Colorado and their fan base came to this game way too confident after barely being an FCS team, and they thought they were on top of the world once again, just like when they beat TCU last year, Colorado State, and then Nebraska last year, the team that was led by Jeff Sims. Now, I said Colorado needed this L. Colorado, like I said before, came into this game way too confident, mostly by their fan base, after barely being an FCS team. And don't get me wrong, North Dakota State is a great team. I think they deserve a lot more credit for even hanging with the Colorado team. However, when you look at Colorado, this game should have been way more secured and not gone down to the last minute in the fourth quarter. And that's exactly what happened. Colorado, despite winning that game, their defense looked absolutely terrible, and just like the defense from last year, it looked pretty horrible, and it seems like this year that has not changed. Now, I said that Colorado obviously needed that L for a humbling, but they obviously needed this win in a big way. Colorado has been called frauds, saying that they're not ready for the big time, and Deion Sanders has faced an immense amount of backlash for the way he carries his team with some sort of cockiness, what a lot of people say. Well, unfortunately, losing to Nebraska does not help Colorado's case in any way, shape, or form. Once again, like they did last year, Colorado failed to show up against one of the better upper echelon teams in college football in Nebraska. We all saw when they got destroyed by Oregon, the hype for Colorado immediately went down as they got absolutely embarrassed on national TV by one of the powerhouses in college football. Now, obviously, Nebraska is not a powerhouse quite yet, but they're still one of the better college football teams in college football now. And winning this game for Colorado would have definitely put some of those opinions to rest. Unfortunately, though, losing this game is only going to help those opinions get even more and more stronger. But let's do a little recapping of what exactly went wrong in this game. It seems like the offensive line for Colorado has not gotten any better. Shedeur Sanders was sacked 6 times in this game, and for the most part, he was running around for his life the entire game. And this was the main reason Colorado was losing their games last year. Shedeur Sanders was one of the most sacked quarterbacks in college football last year, and it seems like this is not changing it. Somehow this does not get fixed, which honestly I don't know if it does. This is not going to change, and Colorado is going to continue to lose games. Even against North Dakota State, the offensive line wasn't great. It was improved, but it was still not great in my opinion. This might surprise a lot of you guys, but I don't think Shedeur is an elite quarterback. I don't think he's a great quarterback either. I think he's a good quarterback who can work with what he has. Unfortunately, if you're running around for your entire life, you can't do anything. The only bright spot from this game came out of Travis Hunter when he finished the game with 10 receptions for 110 yards. And personally, I still think he has a really great chance at winning the Heisman or being one of the finalists for that award. But honestly, it all depends if Colorado can at least finish with a 500 record. Not only does Colorado not have any identity with their offensive line, but their running game also has no identity as well. DJ Hayden finished the game with 5 carries for just 59 yards. Once again, it's okay to be a great team in the passing game, but if you cannot have a well-balanced attack on offense, you're not going to have a very successful offense in college football. Without a great running game for Colorado, it's going to be very easy for this team to execute on them, knowing that they're just going to pass the ball 90% of the time. And unfortunately, against Nebraska, we all saw how that worked. And this was another problem for Nebraska last year. They didn't have a good running game, and we saw how their offense pretty much performed because of that. Now, what I say next is probably going to have people think I'm delusional, but hear me out for a second. Yes, Colorado's defense is still terrible in general, but in the second half, they were not bad. What was the problem? Their offense couldn't do anything. Now, overall, their defense was terrible. That's not going to change. But in the second half, they held Nebraska to just 7 points. Unfortunately, though, their offense did nothing whatsoever to help their defense give them the benefit of the doubt. Unfortunately for Colorado, though, their defense is not going to get a break, as they're going to have to face some high-powered offenses over the next couple weeks who have some very talented players on the offensive side of the ball. So they'll face Colorado State next week at the time you're watching this video, and if Colorado State can make the right plays and Colorado has a few slip-ups, Colorado State can definitely win this game. I'm pretty sure we all saw what happened last year. That was a great game that Colorado definitely should have lost. However, they came back in the fourth quarter and won it in overtime. Baylor isn't a necessarily great team, but once again, with this defense of Colorado, anything can happen, but I think Colorado should honestly win that game. They then will take on UCF, who has had a great rushing attack led by running back R.J. Harvey, and if Colorado's run defense plays like the way they have played over the last couple weeks, UCF can manage to win this game. They then will play Kansas State, who has a really great quarterback in Avery Johnson and a great running back in DJ Giddens, and I think you know what I'm going to say next. Then they'll face Noah Fafita and Tetero McMillan, and honestly, if that game goes the way I imagine it's going to go, it is going to be one hellhole of a day for Colorado. Basically what I'm saying is, this defense for Colorado is going to be a problem over the next couple weeks if they continue to play the way they've been playing over the past 2 games. Their run defense has been absolutely atrocious, and their passing game hasn't been good as well, and they're going to continue to face talented running backs, and they're going to have to face Ollie Gordon in the last game of the season, so I'm honestly eager to see how that's going to go. And they're going to face a talented wide receiver in the next couple weeks, and Tetero McMillan, who's projected to be a first-round pick. Even if Colorado manages to beat these Baylor and UCF teams, they're still going to have to face Kansas State, Arizona, and then a couple weeks later after this, they're going to have to face Utah and Kansas in games that they're honestly both going to lose, I see. Personally, I'm neutral when it comes to Colorado at this point. I was a fan of what they started last year when they started 3-0, but it was pretty clear that this team was not ready for the big time. You look at them now, they're still not ready for the big time, honestly. They have a good quarterback in Shedeur Sanders, who may well be a first-round pick come the 2025 NFL Draft. They also have a talented player in Travis Hunter, who may be one of the better players of this generation. A guy who can play receiver and corner. That's something we have not seen since, well, Deion Sanders. While Travis Hunter is a great corner, unfortunately, the rest of the defense does not help Travis Hunter when he's making plays on the field and making his assignments. Shedeur, like I said, is a good quarterback, but unfortunately, his pocket presence is unfortunately not good, and in the NFL, he's going to struggle with it. In conclusion, Colorado is simply still not ready for the big time. They have way too many holes on this defense, and honestly, their offensive line is still not great, and their running game is pretty much non-existent. You can't be a powerhouse team or expect to be a championship team or even a bowl-winning team when your team plays like this. This loss against Nebraska was the piece of humbling that Colorado and unfortunately their fan base needed. They needed that reality check that they're simply not ready to be a big time team quite yet. Hopefully Deion Sanders uses this as a teaching moment, and honestly he learns from it, because honestly I think they needed this. As I said before, they play Colorado State next week in a game that honestly could go either way at this point. But if Colorado loses this game, I hate to say it, but this team is going to be in dire shape. They are already in dire shape now in my opinion, but they're going to be in even worse shape if they lose this game. But as always, feel free to let me know your thoughts in the comments down below about this video, and let me know what you think Colorado needs to do for the rest of the season in order to improve their team, and what are your expectations for Colorado for the rest of the season. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below in the description, and I will hope to see you guys in the next video. Follow me on social medias down below in the description, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.